We good?
Oh, we weren't rolling.
I thought we were.
No, we're not.
Well, would you like to repeat that then?
No. Would you freak me? I'd freak me.
Okay, there's the intro, actually. Yeah.
That's toned down for the kids.
For all your sensitive ears.
Why are kids listening to this?
Yeah, get back to school, kids.
Hit those books.
Do
you
something
need to be
with your
gangbanging
life.
those books.
Ooh.
That's from Straight Outta Compton.
Is
It's
it?
on FX now all the time.
Don't say gangbanging.
That's what he said. Y'all be need gangbanging them books.
Let's get to it.
Let's, please.
All right.
Everybody, to a very quiet and early episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast.
This is going to be the NPR version.
This is the NPR version. I'm Carrie. I'm your host. And no, I'm gonna be a little bit louder than that. So Chad and Sara are with me.
Hello.
Hi.
Where are we, guys?
We're in line at Liquor Barn.
Doing what?
Waiting
hanging out.
for
We're waiting.
the elusive Weller CYPB,
We
which
are.
it appears that we will not be getting.
We probably are not. I'm 18th in line, and Chad
I'm
is
20th.
19, and Sarah is 20.
I'm hopeful.
And I'm very tired. It is currently 5:05 a.m.
We've been
and,
out here since 3.
We have. I got about 2 hours of sleep last night.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah. What's our motivation in doing all this again?
Hanging
It's
out.
all for you.
This is what.
Oh, stop it.
This is what bourbon
Not you.
people.
Podcast.
This is what
Oh,
bourbon
okay.
people call camping.
I mean the fans. The people
this
listening.
is blamping.
Blamping.
Bourbon
camping.
glam.
Bourbon glam camping.
Yeah, exactly. We're glam camping and we're
It's
drinking
bamping.
it. But you have
Bourbon
to
camping
include the
is
glam
bamping.
in there. Too.
I don't think you're going to make bamping work.
Stop trying to make bamping work, Chad.
It's not going to happen.
This podcast is so fetch.
Oh,
Finally.
jeez.
Finally.
But yeah,
So, as we recently introduced, we have a new segment on the show called Flying Blind, where we try something we have either never had before, wanted to revisit, or Perry blinds Chad and Sara with, I guess.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm about 98% sure you guys have not had this yet.
ooh. So it's extra blind.
This is actually, we actually had this past week on the podcast for repeat listeners. But what do you guys think about the nose on this blind bourbon at the very least?
I think it's nutty.
Huh. I don't so much get the nut
It smells like old peanuts.
at the moment.
Like at Logan's when they have all the peanuts on the floor. That's what it smells like.
It smells sweet. It smells low proof. I might be wrong.
All things are taken into account
Okay.
on the
It
Smart
smells
Bourbon
kind of
podcast.
peanut buttery.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to
totally
give
get
it a shot.
You're going to give it a shot?
Well, I'm not going to shoot it.
Don't
Well,
shoot
I
it. We're
would
not in
hope not.
college.
I mean, I might shoot it.
I'm
I
not
got
anymore.
nothing else to do until 9 a.m.
It's true. All right.
T-minus 4 hours.
Oh, that's nutty.
Oh, okay. I didn't get it on the nose, but I get it on the taste.
Yeah. And it is mild. It's lower proof, I think.
Yeah. It tastes like it might be an 86er, maybe a 90er.
90. I would not say it's above
You're-
a 92.
Chad, you amaze me sometimes.
I am pretty.
It's an 86
Amazing.
proof
It is an
nutty bourbon.
It is an 80. Okay, so what would you, if you had to ponder a guess? That's not the right phrase, but whatever. It's 5
Venture?
Venture a guess.
Give us your hypothesis, Chad.
It's 5 a.m. and
My
I'm very
hypotenuse
tired.
is
Don't.
it's a
He
triangle.
said that one episode. I was like, Chad, that's a triangle.
Chad, that's a triangle. That's what she said.
Did you not take geometry?
That's a triangle.
That's a triangle.
So if you had to venture a guess.
Did you not take trigonometry?
trigonometry?
Apparently you didn't.
Hey, it's 4 a.m. and I'm drinking bourbon.
Yeah.
It's
Lay
5
off
in the
me.
morning.
Okay, it's 5 in the morning. We've been here since 3 in the morning. If I had to venture a guess, I would say it's like some type of Jim Beam Black.
You are correct in brand.
Jim.
You are incorrect in expression.
Jim
86 proof beam.
Beam.
And
well,
you
okay,
think we
you
haven't-
said we
I know what
haven't
it
had
is.
it. What What is it?
What is
It's
it?
the new one.
It is the new one. It's the repeal badge.
It's the repeal badge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good.
Yes, I win.
I
did win.
am a big fan of this.
I bought a bottle. I haven't. We haven't uncorked it yet.
Well, I'm sorry to
It's-
ruin
it's-
this for you.
No, it's
You're
okay.
uncorking, but
it's definitely nutty.
It's a super typical Jim Beam flavor
Yeah.
profile. Like the nuttiness is.
Who hit the proof?
oh, you hit it
Oh,
right
you
on
hit
the
it
nose.
right on
you
the
hit
head.
it. You
But
hit
then
it
I
from
was-
the nose.
Once you said that, I was like, okay, thinking of that line of like things that they do that are 86
Sure.
proof, and I was
Yeah.
like, Perry said I haven't had it and it's 86 proof. I was like, ding, 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 we have a winner.
So this was our review from our last episode. I gave this a hard recommend.
You,
mean,
you
for
don't.
what?
You don't hear that.
20
You hear hard pass. You don't hear hard recommend.
No.
A hard recommend.
I give it
this
a
was
hard
an 18.
recommend.
Thanks for that.
Would you recommend me? I'd recommend me.
Oh my
I-
God.
$18 before tax.
$18.
$18 before
I would
tax.
definitely recommend this.
So my
I'm slap
hypotenuse
happy.
here. Yeah.
What's your hypotenuse?
My hypotenuse here is that this is going to be the first in a line of Jim Beam tradition editions.
Tradition editions.
Yeah.
I like it.
really?
Yeah, I would say that
Traditions.
what we're looking at
Traditions.
here is Jim Beam's introduction to a whiskey row kind of line of
Oh, that makes sense.
because what we're experiencing right now is a trend in people who want to drink and try older bourbons, meaning Dusties. And companies approximating that with certain expressions. And I think that this is Jim Beam's first venture into it. And I think what we're looking at next is probably like a 1960s version.
Well, you know, it's
of
very.
Jim Beam.
People say, "Oh, it's a pre-prohibition style bourbon." You know, that's very trendy to say, like
Yeah.
pre-prohibition.
Sure.
That's
Pre-prohibition
such a
style.
catchphrase
Sure.
now, and
A
yeah.
recipe that we found from a scrap of paper that was buried in a blah blah.
or not even a
Like-
recipe. Like we got it off of tasting notes
That someone else.
Right.
from.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I mean, that's the turkey
Well, the
thing.
good thing about Jim Beam, though, is that they've had their exact same recipe since their inception.
And they won't tell you what it is.
No, they won't.
Nope.
But-
it's a secret.
It's a
But-
secret recipe.
I mean, all they had to do was basically match the aging and filtering conditions that they had post-prohibition.
yeah.
So, if this is their Whiskey Roast series, why is it so affordable? Is that like Jim
That's
Beam's
another thing.
model? Like,
That- I
we've
think it
got
is.
to be affordable?
That's
it is.
another thing that we were talking about too, is that it's limited edition. So why isn't
Well,
it?
They did that craft series. Remember that? Jim Beam
Yes,
craft
They
I
series.
did.
do remember that.
And those are more in like I want to say the $50 range.
But you know, those are still sitting
50
around
to
places.
70, yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe they found that the Jim Beam drinker, even though they are the largest,
Is the
you know,
lower
in the
price
world,
drinker.
Yeah.
is a more price conscious drinker.
And if you want,
Sure.
if you want your customer to pay more, you've got to call it Knob Creek. You've got to call it Basil Hayden.
You
You've
gotta
got to
call
call
Booker's.
it Booker's. You
Booker's,
got to call
yeah.
it Baker's.
And so it
But
sounds
that's
like
all
they've
the
already
small
got
batch
their.
series. So
I mean, they've got their white label, and then they've got their high end stuff nailed down. So I feel like for them, this does make sense. I'm just curious. Like, this is really good, and it's $18. So
now,
I mean-
do you think this is truly going to be limited, like they
What's the
say, a
catch?
limited time
well,
offering?
see, that's the other thing too, is we were talking about how with Distiller's Cut,
it was supposed to be limited.
it was supposed to be limited, but now you can find it everywhere.
yeah.
But for how long? Maybe like after this year, we won't see it again.
And that's the other thing we were saying too. It could be a 1-year run. If that's the case, you know, I think that it is reasonable to call it a limited edition, even though it's in a more readily available market.
So Agnell supplies are low.
I'd say take your time.
Call now and wait. There's more.
I will
Wow.
say this. I will probably be buying another bottle of it.
I mean, I bought 2 at the get. One to uncork
And
and,
one
then
keep.
one to keep.
And that's how I am with this, is that I think
Yeah.
that this is the most affordable, and this is just me projecting. I think that this is the affordable collector's edition Jim Beam.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I'd like to blind this with Distiller's Cut because I really liked the Distiller's Cut, and we like the black. I like Devil's Cut. You like Choice. I'd love to do like a
Jim Beam
old
flight.
versus new kind of
Yeah.
Jim Beam flight.
I mean, you know, choice is no longer offered.
Right.
So I don't know
Sure.
if we-
But I'd still like to know if, with what they're coming out that's new versus what they've discontinued,
Sure.
what you like, because that Jim Beam Choice was
Don't
your
you point
first.
at me.
Oh, I'll point at you.
She's
it was
pointing
your,
at me,
You can't see it.
your
Oh, she just gave
winner
him the
of
finger.
the 50 under 25. Now that they don't make it anymore, I'd be interested to know
It's
if
true.
blind you like this better.
It's true. Now this,
Yeah.
remind me, this is a non-chill
This
filter.
is non-chill filter.
Which is
And
very
that's what makes it
interesting.
lovely.
Well, here's what I have to say to your I'd like to try it blind against Distiller's Cut. I tried Distiller's Cut right before I tried this.
Yeah.
This to me was more favorable.
From
Which
what I
is-
remember, Distiller's Cut, does it taste like darker? It's just like
A little bit. I
it's
think
100. It's 100 proof.
it's
This
100
is
proof.
86.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you picked the 86.
Over the
and
100.
and that's what I was
Yeah.
saying too. You guys really need to listen to last
But
last
it
week's
wasn't
episode.
blind.
Quit pushing your agenda on me, Perry. I'm my own
But
person.
it wasn't blind. And that's
It wasn't blind. You're
that's
right.
the only thing.
You're
Like,
right.
I trust your judgment. I just always
I
like.
don't. I'm kidding.
I just
that's
always
fair.
like that experiment of knowing when you don't see the labels, what's the real answer. So,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
so cool.
Yes.
Well, that's
So
fun.
anyway, yeah,
Flying
I'm glad
blind.
you
I
guys,
like it.
Yeah, it's a fun little segment that I thought
Will
would
you
be.
please write a song for this segment? Because
Me?
Flying Blind, there's so many options out there.
Flying blind again.
Flying blind again, ripped up like a bourbon in the middle of the night.
So I learned the uncorking theme on guitar today.
Did you?
Yeah, 'cause I was-
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, because I was bored.
Please excuse
it's in
my
the key.
singing
It's in the
voice.
key of C, by the way, for anybody who.
Oh, I don't know what key I was in just
I
now.
thought it was
Probably no key.
I thought it was in the key of B for bourbon, but
Oh,
I guess not.
well, now you're just
Bourbon-
gonna have to pitch
bourbon
it
flat?
down. You're just gonna.
It's bourbon flat.
Anyway,
Wow.
There's no bourbon sharp.
so
No.
we have plenty of time to kind of kill here before this.
You're welcome.
Before the opening. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we have plenty of time to talk about what we've been drinking recently,
Oh God.
and you guys have plenty to talk about what you've been drinking.
We
recently.
have been drinking Texas whiskey.
Why have you been drinking Texas whiskey?
Because
Chad?
we went to Austin.
Yeah, let's tell you.
For what? Do I have to prompt you with every
Tell
two
us,
words?
Chad.
At this hour, yes. We went to the Crowded Barrel Distillery opening, which is the Whiskey Vault, the Whiskey Tribe, the Whiskey Biscuits,
All them whiskey
all them
things.
whiskey guys.
Daniel and
Daniel
Rex.
and Rex.
And they were super awesome. Like, they invited us down. I felt so, I don't know, included, like special. Like, thank you. Oh my God, we got invited. But no, they're seriously like so nice.
Yeah.
And they were super accommodating. And there were probably 400 people there. I don't know.
Jeez.
Is what they said. They estimated 400 people
Yeah.
to come to the distillery opening. And it was like, you know, we got to talk to them a little bit during the day and then at the end of the night, but it seemed like they were the kind of people who just made a little bit of time to talk to everybody.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it was great. I mean, other than it being almost 110 degrees outside, it was awesome.
And by that we mean it was 109.
Yeah. And it was a dry heat, but
Almost
no,
100.
It
it
was,
was a dry
What was the heat
still
index?
hot.
It was a
It was
dry-
hot.
dry
It was a dry heat.
It was hot. Yeah, it was super awesome. Like, I feel like we didn't meet a stranger the whole time we were down there. You know,
Yeah.
even people that we met for the first time was like, we already had something to talk about.
We
so.
played, and we didn't even, I don't think we even told you this, Perry, before, but we played Cards Against Humanity down in the hotel lobby.
snap.
With
With all
With
those
some
50
fans.
people.
it had ended up being like, what, 7 people in that
7
game?
people,
Started
yeah.
with 4,
Oof,
and people
jeez.
just kept
adding.
adding.
Do
And
me in,
I-
do me
It was like the longest
Oh.
game of Cards Against
Sarah and I
Humanity
were
ever.
tied. We had 6 cards each. You win with 7.
And I was like,
And
I'll be
another
damned if
guy
I go to bed and Chad wins.
had 6. Yeah, everyone's like against me. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Uh,
This other guy came out of nowhere and won. So
yeah. he
good for
did.
him.
Yeah.
Well, fair
But
enough.
anyways,
Yeah, so we've been drinking Texas whiskey.
Texas whiskey.
Texas bourbon, Texas whiskey.
Which in particular?
Well, my personal favorite, and I believe this is also Chad's,
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for him, but we tried from a distillery called Iron Root, which is northern Texas, I believe. And they are coming out with a cask strength, which we got to preview there.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be out at all Total Wine locations in October. And it was fantastic. Like,
Awesome.
for compared to everything else we were trying, because
Hands
Texas
down the
whiskey is
best.
actually
Yeah.
very different, you know. It's treated different because of the heat and where they store
Sure.
it and stuff. So they can't age it more than 3 or 4 years, or else it just becomes straight up oak.
Yeah.
So this actually had so much flavor, and it was just super balanced and more like a Kentucky bourbon, I would say, but I mean, it was really good and strong, and the like dark
Yeah.
color for only being like 3 to 4 years old, it was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And not all, it seemed like a lot of them started with the small barrels, but then eventually they graduated to the bigger ones. We went to, Garrison Brothers. And they use 15 and 30 gallon barrels,
Which I've never heard of.
Which is odd. I think I've heard of 15, but not 30. And then one place said they do 55 and 65 gallon barrels. I'm like, that's not standard at all.
Why are you
doing?
making this up?
What
And
are you
who makes
doing?
these for you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Let's
it
make
wasn't
the world's biggest whiskey barrel.
and it wasn't like here. It's either Independent Stave or oh crap, I'm blanking. Independent Stave or
And then Woodford makes their own.
well, they have
Cooper's.
their own. Yeah, they have their own cooperage. but-
Kelvin.
Kelvin, thank you. Kelvin Cooperage or Independent Stave seems like around here. They're in Texas, like, no, we got this cooperage that's making our barrels and da 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 da. And it's like they just kind of operate. It seems
It's
like on
different.
their own rules, their own type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was interesting. We got to try Eleanor, which is the whiskey tribes.
yeah.
Which they had, I couldn't
4
believe.
different expressions.
Yeah, it was MGP sourced, but they
aged it there.
okay.
They aged it there.
It's okay.
Yeah, so
All good.
they had 4 different recipes, which were all really great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's crazy again how the heat can help and change the maturation versus what it does here.
Right.
So we tried all 4, and not a one of them. I mean, all 4 of them were delicious.
They had one that they called Nutty.
They did. They called it the nutty one, and of course, Chad was
Chad
like,
expression.
this
I
one.
think it was like 62.
I thought they could have called
They
it.
had numbers.
Yeah.
They had 56.
Okay.
56, 58, 60, and 62.
62.
62 was my favorite.
62 was my favorite. That was the Nutty.
Then we had the same favorite.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Shocker.
Unfortunately, it's not available for purchase widely, but if you're
it
ever
will
in
be
Austin, I
eventually,
would
right?
recommend
I
going to
guess.
the Crowded Barrel.
Like, I think it's
You would hope
sold
for
out.
it to be. Yeah. I just want to
all
address
pre-orders?
something. I want to address something real quick. I'm sitting here just without a blanket, and you guys are like
You have on-
you like the 2 grandparents.
You have
and-
on long pants.
I do.
I do, but you guys are also like the grandparents and
Well,
Willy Wonka
we're
and the Chocolate
prepared.
Factory.
We packed well
we
for
packed
this.
well. We brought
Well,
like
I also run hot, so
he runs hot. He runs a little hot.
So are you cold?
No,
Okay, then you don't need a blanket.
no, I know, but it's just funny. I've got like grandma and grandpa sitting
I'm-
in their recliners.
Oh yeah, I have my
Talking
feet up
bourbon.
right now.
Get
like
off my
I am
lawn.
reclined.
Get off my lawn, rant.
Get off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
My
you
lawn.
guys have had.
We're old
a-
souls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have had a pretty good little what you've been drinking.
Oh yeah, we've had a
Recently, for
long.
sure.
I would
Yeah,
say
that
so.
was long. We got to wrap that up.
Oh yeah. Plus we came home with samples.
We did come home with a lot of
Did.
samples,
Did.
and we had several good finds down there. So it was
Yeah.
overall a good trip.
Yeah. Awesome.
What you been drinking?
Nothing special, really. I'm trying to hoard a little bit of Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond right now, which I'm not going to harp on too much, but it is, according
There's
to
that rumor.
it's starting to become more substantiated that they are rebranding and going national with it. But-
Gross.
Do you have? How many? You have some of those, right?
I got 4 or 5 back around the first rumor that it was going away.
All right.
I mean,
well, I'm gonna get some more.
Kentucky
Yeah.
folk, it's time for us to stock up on it.
Stock up. Hey, guess what? We're at a liquor store, so we can go buy some.
Hey, look at that. Where are we again?
We're at Liquor Barn.
I'm
Name
tired.
drop.
Anyway,
Tian.
I've actually been drinking not regularly, but some more of this repeal batch as well because I've just been
It's a
such
pretty
a fan.
easy sipper.
It is maybe my favorite 86 proof.
Wow,
that I've
bold
had.
statement.
Yeah.
Bold.
Yeah.
Again,
Daring.
I want to blind you.
Well,
No,
she
but
wants
I
to
j-
blind
that's
you.
fine.
She wants to take out your eyes. Wow.
They're just
what are you going to do
annoying.
with them? Wear them as a necklace?
Whatever Buffalo Bill does with the eyes he takes.
It
I
puts the
don't know.
lotion on the skin.
It does what it's told.
Or it
Harry.
gets the
They're
hose.
Lot of Hannibal Lecter references today.
We're getting into fall. It's almost Halloween.
I want to
It's
drink this
basically
bourbon with a
Christmas.
nice bottle of
It's basically
Chianti.
Christmas.
Some
It's
fava
just now
beans.
September. We are 5 hours into September.
It's basically Christmas.
Yeah.
Break out the tree, kids.
Because it's
Santa's
Bourbon
coming
Heritage
tomorrow.
Month,
Your
then it's
bourbon
my
tree.
birthday, then it's Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas. So
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like we should further the conversation.
We should probably because
Is there a topic?
Yeah, I think our main question is, why are we doing this? Why are we waiting in line for bourbon?
All
Why are you
in
doing
the
this, Perry?
pursuit of hype. That's what the
Is it?
that's
The
what
pursuit
the
of-
that's what the podcast name should be.
Is it
The
the
pursuit
pursuit
of
of
hype?
hype? I want you
This
to
is my
tell us
pursuit of
why
hype.
you're doing this.
So for me, I was having a conversation with somebody about this on Facebook last night, actually. And they were going, I don't think that I'm going to do it. You know, I'm going to get there too late and everything. And I was like, why not go out of your way to have, the way I phrased it was a guaranteed chance at buying it. And that's what we're, in essence, doing, is guaranteeing ourselves a chance at buying something.
At giving them our money.
Yeah.
Well, when you put it that way.
I mean, but I'm not trying to say
us
it in a
give
negative
us-
way. Like, it's a,
Give you our money.
yeah.
Yeah. Shut up and take my money.
Shut up.
Shut up and take my money.
But it's also because I think there is a little bit, for me, of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean,
Well,
that,
can you ever remember a time when a new Weller line came out?
no, because,
So that's,
yeah,
yeah. So, I mean,
limited or otherwise.
right.
Right.
You know,
So I think for
What
us.
Weller isn't limited nowadays?
Yeah.
Well-
I mean, do I want it personally, like for us to drink and have in our home? Of course. But
Sure.
even if I can't get it for that, like I want it, wherever it comes from, sample or lending a bottle or otherwise, or we get one
Content-wise,
today, which is unlikely.
fingers crossed.
It's for us, but it's more to share. Like we want to share that experience
Yeah,
and
with
let
the
you know,
internet.
because that same thing kind of happened with King of Kentucky,
all
where
about
people were like
content.
super bummed.
That's sweet, sweet content.
Exactly. So that's sweet content. People were bummed about the King of Kentucky. Like when we got a bottle and people were like, oh man, I wish I got one or I passed on one or whatever.
Yeah.
And we tried it and we were like,
Don't be bummed.
don't be bummed. And then people said like, this made me feel better, or like, I'm glad I know what it's like, but now I don't have to feel bad about not getting a bottle.
We were diffusing that FOMO.
And I kind of feel like our FOMO will help diffuse someone else's FOMO.
You're tastemakers.
Well, but if we say, oh my God, this is awesome, it's amazing, we love it, that also sucks too, because it's going
Sure.
for like, I don't even know, what's the inflated rate on that?
300?
What,
Oh, it's
300 to
gotta be.
350? I mean, but what's the on the shelf price? What, 40?
40, I think.
Oh, it's CYPB?
I'm trying
Yeah.
to think.
Sorry, I
of the,
thought we were talking about the King of Kentucky
sorry,
for a
I
second.
switched
I was
back.
like,
Okay.
oh no.
No, so for
King of
this
Kentucky's going for
particular
900.
bottle,
Yeah.
we're trying to do the same thing where we can, give some insight onto whether you missed out or whether you're fine
Yeah.
by missing out. But the question is like, if we say it's amazing, like if all three of us agree this is awesome, and
Sure.
we are so glad we got a bottle if we get one.
Well,
Then-
go ahead.
But is it worth telling our fans like to pay $350, which is how many percentages? Like what is that, like 600%?
Well,
I don't know.
it can be
I
amazing.
can't do math.
It can be amazing for $40. But would it be
Is it amazing for
$350?
$350?
Very doubtful.
Doubtful.
Very doubtful.
What? Oh yeah, the CYPB. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's
Oh, you're fine.
no, you're fine, man.
Welcome to the show.
Come on.
We're under
on.
the cover of darkness.
You are too.
We have a retracted guest there.
Hi, Donald.
Yeah, so it's like I have to wonder if we didn't have a show, would we be here right now?
I mean,
I would say I probably wouldn't be.
I would
Okay.
probably be a couple hours later.
Yeah, I think we would have been here, but
Yeah.
we would have been here at like 5 or 6. Like,
Yeah.
And even still, we got here at 3, and I still don't think that was early enough.
Yeah.
And that was just to make sure that we got it, to hope to make sure that we got it for
Right.
to do it on
And
corking.
that probably won't even happen.
And it doesn't even look like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, it's worth a try.
So, I mean, is it unreasonable for us to be here at 3 a.m.?
No.
no,
See, that's the thing is
we're
that
Kentuckians.
sure, and we're also, I mean, aside from being Kentuckians, we're also bourbon nerds.
Bourbon drinkers and collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's not out of the realm of reasonability.
But, like,
Reasonability.
how
says
long did
Perry.
people wait in line
Reasonableness?
for, like, Furbies back in 1998?
I never
or whatever
waited in
year?
line for a Furby.
My mom did.
Okay.
But those things
know,
have no value
But
now.
people wait in line on Black Friday for TVs. Like, if that's what's
True.
Oh,
important.
they wait in line for a deal, sure.
Right. If that's important to you, then that's fine. If it's not, then that's fine too.
Is
Whatever.
this a deal to you, Chad?
No, because Weller Antique
Is cheaper?
Well, let me just say Weller 12 is less expensive, and it is 12 years old instead of 8. And it's, no, it's 90 proof, sorry. A little lower proof.
That's what I was going to say. Is there a, do you take the proof into account in this instance?
I do. It's what, 95?
95. Yep.
So, okay. It's 2 years older than Special Reserve, and it's 5 points higher.
Mm-hmm.
But
And it's $20 more.
But it's a limited novelty product. Like, they spent
Oh,
marketing
it's a novel-
dollars
yeah.
to get the information to be able to craft this bottle. So I get that being passed on to the bottle. Like, I do. And I
they
still think
didn't, they would've
$20
been
more is a
stupid.
reasonable price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they
would've been
didn't make
stupid.
it more, it would be stupid. Yeah.
Now, a couple.
They are wishing that they had released the Weller line in the boom, and they could have said like $50 for Special Reserve, $60 for 107, and $80 for 12 years.
They totally could have.
But since they did it so low, like again, MSRP on 12 year is what, $30,
Sure.
It's insane.
which I think it's even gone up a few bucks. I
But
think
not
it used
by
to
much.
be $24.95.
Yeah.
Like they can't say, oh, it's popular now, let's raise it $25.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
No.
That's not a Buffalo Trace thing.
No.
No, and they've been very adamant too about their pricing, and have
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
we're holding the line at $18.99.
And good for them. I mean,
Sorry.
that is
Don't give me that face.
good for them. No, I had
Yeah.
friends the other day pick up bottles of Special Reserve in a store, and they were like $50,
Yeah.
$60. I think they were actually more
For
than
a
that.
fifth.
It was like $60 or $70 for a fifth of Special Reserve, and I slapped their hands. I was like, "You put that down right now." I was like, "I can just be patient. I will find you a normal price."
Yeah.
So we did.
And we did,
Yeah.
yeah. And like, I feel like so many people, like Weller has become the new Pappy of bourbon. Everybody knows Pappy, and now everybody knows Weller.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even people who aren't
People have
willing
given,
to sit
I think-
out here.
I think people have given up on Pappy.
People
They're
have
like,
given-
I'll never have that.
Right, that's what I mean.
But Weller.
They're
yes.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't find Pappy, so what down that line can I get? And Weller's that new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows it. It's becoming a pop culture thing.
Well, it's
Yeah.
amazing to me that it's strictly like a
Bless
Pappy.
you.
People are sneezing.
Sorry. I find sneezing to be one of the funniest things in the world. I don't know.
Well,
I
it's so
don't-
involuntary,
Have you
and it's
ever
such
heard
like a
someone
weird.
fart?
I have.
Both
but
are
just-
involuntary and both make weird loud sounds.
Involuntary. Well, hopefully you can hold those. I think a sneeze is more involuntary.
Sorry. So let me get back on
That's
track.
a real topic. Let's talk
What's more involuntary, farting or sneezing?
farts.
Oh,
Funny or
Chad.
not.
No.
Hilarious. I don't care how old you are.
I would
Scene
disagree
in
with
Dumb
that
and Dumber. I'm
statement.
sorry. With the XLX.
It's
Anyways.
amazing to me that
Oh, you're trying to keep it highbrow. I
That-
get it.
that craze
It's 5 in the morning.
of weeded bourbon seems to be more isolated to Pappy and Weller.
Hmm.
I agree.
There,
No one's
there are
losing their mind over Old Fits or Rebel Yell.
or
Or
larceny
Maker's Private
or
Selection.
makers. Yeah, exactly.
Makers.
What is it about the Buffalo Trace Weller and Pappy line?
It's that.
I think it's that it comes
it's
from
the
Pappy.
hype.
It's that mash bill. It's
It's
that
the hype.
distillery.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But I think that objectively, larceny might be a better product.
Ooh, those some fighting words.
Did you just drop my mic?
Not to me.
No, I
I mean,
didn't.
like to the audience.
If I did, I cut it out, and you
Just
can't hear.
drop that.
I
Drop that
think
mic.
it is a, what do you call it?
A commodity.
It is a commodity, but I think it's a status.
It's
thing.
a legend.
Sure.
Okay, because makers isn't a status. Everyone
Right.
can have makers. Larceny, not a status. Everyone can have larceny. Pappy, status. And by relation, Weller has become status. You get a Weller 12, you're
balling.
balling. and I think that's how people
Balls to the wall balling.
like
Yep.
think when they look at it. I mean, especially out of state people, like where it's
Yeah.
really hard to find. So
Or easier.
I think it's about
If you're in
taste
Texas.
Well,
or easier.
we didn't find any 12 in Texas.
No, we didn't.
We
But
did
I
find
thi-
an antique.
Yeah.
And
So-
some special reserve.
And some special
so-
reserve.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think it is about taste because Weller is a great product, but I think it's also about status because if you blind me with Weller and Larceny and Makers and all this and that, what are we really all going to pick? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking Wellers. I'm just saying, like, I think it's definitely that name has some weight, and that's why Makers and Larceny and Old Fits and all that aren't. That's pretty loud for 5 a.m.
I was going to say, I need to point out, we're also open air for the first time on the show. And so if you hear some...
a
It's
podcast under the
breezy.
stars, I can see
Yeah.
Orion's belt right
Aw.
there.
Are we having a moment?
We're having a moment. We're looking at the stars, folks. That's all I can see.
I can't see anything else either.
No.
What were we talking about?
Weller.
Commodities? Yeah.
Commodities.
Yeah.
Well, you know
No,
what?
I agree, yeah.
You know what we
It's-
haven't done in a while?
Huh.
Drink.
Had any bourbon.
Oh, let's do that.
So you know what I have?
What do you have?
I was like, yeah, why is my cup empty?
What you
I
got?
have. Hold on.
Oh, he pulled out a flask. It's another. It's another flask. My
Of
other
what?
flask.
My other flask.
My other bands.
You didn't find my other flask. Weller 107.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
perfect for our topic.
Because I
Yeah.
figured this was
Nice.
appropriate in terms of...
And you know what? I would really love to do this blind, but I have a feeling that I would pick 107 over 12 blind because I just
Chad,
like
I
the
will blind
proof.
you on that later.
All right, do it.
Well, we did a review of Weller 12 with Curtis probably about a
Curtis.
month.
Curtis.
Probably about a month and a half ago. And then a few weeks ago, we did 107. And 107 unanimously scored higher
Right?
than Weller 12
The
did.
12.
Yeah.
And you know, we've always said that age isn't everything.
It's just a number, I heard.
It's definitely just a number. Yes.
I'm a comedian at 5 in the morning.
But you know, it's like
You had very good quips,
I
I will
think
say.
so, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the new thing. We now have to every episode record with you at 5 a.m.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll drag you out of bed.
Call Sarah at 4:30 in the morning.
I feel
Can
like
you do a
even at-
podcast in like 30
Sarah,
minutes?
it's time to drink bourbon.
Even at
It's
3.
Bourbon O'Clock.
I mean, that's why I would get up out of bed for that.
It's true.
was like,
they
but
should
there's-
have an alarm clock that just releases the smell of bourbon. Or
Can
is
it
that
just
how
like-
you know you have a problem?
New invention. New invention.
Is that like a problem?
Bourbon
This guy
pheromones.
gets it.
Yeah,
gets
he
it.
knows.
He gets it. He gets it. Yeah, yeah. It's
We
just-
got laugh from the peanut
it could-
gallery.
you could either set it to bacon or bourbon, or both.
No, both.
Bacon, bourbon, but not
Yes.
that nasty bacon
Brown
bourbon
sugar,
that they actually sell.
brown sugar, maple, bourbon.
No.
Barrel.
Like, I want to smell bourbon and bacon is cooking somewhere in the distance.
Like when you walk into a rick house and you smell that, I want that as
Yeah.
my alarm clock smell.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to wake you up, Chad. I think that's going to make you
I'm just
dream
gonna
sweeter
dream.
dreams. Yeah. Anyways.
What are we doing? Drinking?
We're drinking
107? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm drinking out of an.
Would you drink me?
this. Yeti.
I
drink me. I'm drinking out of a little. Well, it's actually an Ozark.
Oh, well,
It's the Walmart brand
it's
of
the Walmart
Yeti.
Yeti. Hey, it's good enough.
Little cocktail cup here,
All right then.
and for some reason, I don't know what it is, and it may just be because in less than 12 hours the Wildcats are about to open their football season.
Sure.
It smells like game day to me.
Smells like game day.
Game day.
It smells like game day. And I just want to
Game
full
day.
disclosure. This is not the end of my drinking day. All
This
year.
is the
only the
beginning.
beginning.
And
This
it's
is
an early start.
only
Perry, you're going to
the
be in
beginning.
bed by 8 p.m.
Well, I also have to go play music later tonight as well.
Bourbon
Perry,
for
this day is
breakfast.
a marathon, not a sprint.
This
I hope
is
you
my-
remember that.
Where are you playing music?
At a polo match.
Oh, we can't go there.
What?
We're not classy enough for that.
Oh no, it's totally fine.
So
you
like
guys
parking
really
lot
should
polo?
come.
Parking lot.
Let's talk about. Let's take this
polo.
offline.
Okay.
Yeah,
and we'll
talk-
make these
talk about
plans
it
later.
We'll talk about it later.
All right, fine.
Yeah. I really do love the nose on 107.
I mean, there's just something so like comforting and familiar and magical about 107. It's like just the right proof. So we realized the other day, and don't you dare steal this,
Those
that
fighting words.
10/7 it falls on a Sunday. So we're gonna do a live episode on 10/7 of 107s
Why would I steal that?
because it's genius.
You bastard. I don't know.
I'm probably going to be moderating that live stream.
Okay, that's good.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
so
will
on
moderate
October
that live
7th,
stream,
We're going
and
to do
I will
107s.
also be drinking 107.
Yeah.
So let's name
So-
other 107s.
Pure Kentucky XO. Yep.
Bakers.
I was
Ooh, Bakers, yes.
okay. I'm out.
Old Rip.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
but
Old Rip 10.
first we will
Old
have
Rip
to
10.
uncork that.
Oh yeah, that's good
And
stuff.
The crown jewel of uncorking.
Another 107.
The crown jewel,
Not
not Pappy
really.
23.
Well, it's not the main jewel in the crown, but it's in the crown.
Oh, that reminded me. We had a 45-year-old Scotch in Austin.
And it tasted like.
It wasn't
A
bad.
45-year-old. It tastes like licking the face of a 45-year-old man.
Daddy, this tastes like Grandma.
No.
You're right. It does taste like Grandma. We'll take a whole bushel.
It actually was pretty good. It was really smooth.
It was not bad.
I
Yeah.
was more tolerant. People kept bringing me Scotch in Austin, and I was way more tolerant of it than Chad was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. I'm just
Well,
intolerant.
that's true.
I'm just intolerant. I don't know what the math ratio is, but I feel like 45 years in Scotland is equal to like 20 years
20
in
years
Kentucky.
in Kentucky.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So,
I get that.
But yeah.
something like that. I don't know.
So, anyways,
So
back
anyway,
to this
bourbon.
107.
Yes. I love 107. Weller Antique 107.
It
I should
just
probably be a little
it's
clearer about
it
that.
warms you up just enough in the chest.
It's
you know what?
good.
I actually might deem this the perfect game day bourbon
Oh.
because
Now, what makes
Better than
Okay.
a game day
better
bourbon?
what
than
makes a
Turkey
game day
101?
bourbon? That's a tough call. I would say they're both great game day bourbons, but I think this one might be perfect because it is mild and smooth enough to drink in the summer months, the hotter months of football watching, but it also has enough kick to it. If you drink it in November when it's 40 degrees outside
It'll warm
you're,
you up.
yeah, you've got hand warmers and feet warmers and like moving all around. So I feel like the high proof of the 107 makes it be a late summer / into fall.
Yeah.
Perfect for game day, perfect for tailgating. Like it's got enough. You're not going to get hammered. It's not barrel proof, but it's also not an 80 proof. You
You
know,
put on that
it's right
bourbon
there in
coat.
the middle.
Yeah.
You put on your bourbon coat. It's game day. It's crisp fall air. Like you're good. You can drink it in the afternoon, right before you go into the game. Stay warm the whole time. It's just, it's game day juice.
It's game day juice.
It makes. I think it's just. I can smell football in the air, like you said. And
I'm starting to get the itch for
It's
the
an itch,
Yeah.
right?
the
Yeah.
pigskin.
Even though our team
Yeah.
sucks. Not
cares?
this year.
Not
We
this
don't
year.
know yet. We don't know.
This is our
We'll
year.
find out. Ask me again in 12 hours. And
Ask
I'll,
me.
Ask me,
Ask me about my football team.
Don't at me.
Don't at me, bro.
No, I mean I love to go to football games and cheer for them, but I don't have
Yeah.
super high hopes.
Yeah.
Basketball is where it's
Hey,
at for us in
look,
Kentucky.
guys, the invitation to come and tailgate with us later today too is still open.
I will.
'cause
I will call you from my couch.
I know you will.
Well,
We'll
I guess I know
FaceTime.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
So let's talk a little bit more about CYPB because that's what we're here for, right?
Uh-huh.
right.
I have had CYPB. I tried it at Southern Whiskey Society.
Humble brag.
You think you're better than me?
Yeah. What, you think you're better than me? You want to fight?
You want to go?
You want to fight?
You want to go, bro?
You think you're better than me?
You looking at me? You talking to me?
What's going on? Where are we? What's happening?
So
Who's that?
I
It's like
smelled
taking a dog
it.
to the vet.
What? Who are you? What's going on? Who's that guy?
We lost Chad.
He's gone.
It's every, what's his name? Mark Wahlberg movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good.
He
That's
just
good.
always
That's
asks
good.
questions. What? Who are you? What's going on?
Well, Mark Wahlberg is
the
like,
plants are angry?
He is solely
that movie.
he's solely like an expositional character
Sure.
or actor.
Sure.
Even though they try to market him as
No, we should do a film together. It'll be big. All right. Well, say hello to your mother for me.
Thank you, Andy.
Wow.
So you're a dog. Hey, dog.
Hey, dog.
So you're a dog.
Say hello to your mother for
Say hello to your mother for me.
I'm sorry.
Do you hear that,
Andy,
Si?
Andy Samberg on Brooklyn Nine-Nine reminds me so much of you for some, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know why.
I think
you guys have very similar.
he
like,
copies me.
Okay, fine.
I could see it.
I,
Not the
look,
copying part.
He,
but.
he owes you so many royalties. Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway,
I was on a
bourbon.
boat first. I was on a boat way before he was. Straight flipping copies.
How many years before?
Oh.
Okay, so
Well,
anyway.
Chad's old,
bourbon.
so. No, I'm just kidding.
So
I had lazy Sundays before he did.
my point in all this,
Or your point,
in
Trevor?
pure speculation, do you guys think that the hype over CYPB is worth it?
I can't say
That
because I
is
haven't
tough.
tried it.
That
Yeah.
is tough,
From a
tough,
marketing
tough,
Pure
perspective,
speculation.
from a marketing perspective, I think it is really cool what they did. Also, I think it's kind of weird what they did. Like, we all did this thing on Buffalo Trace's website where we put in our ideal. We put in our ideal, like, mash bill, how many years it was stored, where it was stored, blah, blah, blah. Gave us all this information about our dream date bourbon. And secretly, they were like, we're collecting data on you. And we're going to make this a thing, right? Which is cool and also weird.
Creepy. And also not cool.
Also creepy, but weird. But yeah, so I get they made this whole website thing. They made this whole program. So I get the money that went into that. So I understand the cost of the Weller CYPB.
Right.
And I get it's limited. They're not going to do this it's not an extended Weller product unless it's, I mean, I don't know why not, though.
Man. What
why
if
don't
it
they
becomes...
just make it one?
I think we talked about this when it was first released on your
First
podcast.
announced. We were talking about gimmicks.
Sorry, first announced.
Do you think it's a gimmick?
Well,
that was actually my next question.
That podcast is a quagmire right there because we were like, what defines a gimmick? And that was a whole mishigash. But it was like,
oi with the Jewish words.
It was a shanda. It was a shanda.
I'm putting the kibosh on you.
Yeah, I'll put the kibosh on me. It was like, we'll have a brisket later. It was like,
other Jewish stereotypes.
I'm not amused.
What defines a gimmick? Is a gimmick inherently a bad thing, or is it marketing genius? And is the CYPB a good thing, or is it just taken away from Weller 12 and the others?
I'll just say I don't think a gimmick defines the product. I think a gimmick defines the method of advertising the product.
Like the usefulness?
Like
I feel like a gimmick has a bad
hype
connotation.
Hype. Gimmick has a negative connotation.
as well. Yeah.
It does. But I think...
Hey, Starbucks is open, by the way.
That's cool. I think gimmick has a negative connotation, but I think it should be defined as something that is used to manipulate the public to buy a product.
It's the hook, right?
The hook, right?
It's the hook.
So I think
And
the
a
hook of
isn't
this
bad.
was you all picked it, and now we're making it. It's already a limited product. Here's an even more limited product. So here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's fantastic, but it's still a gimmick.
I mean, they could have said, you all picked 23-year-old Pappy. Good luck.
So that's my other thing is, like,
There
we
are
don't
8
know.
bottles, and you can
Because
find...
people, when they did that thing online, they were like, my perfect bourbon's Pappy 23
I wanna get a Pappy.
or whatever. I think mine was Elmer T. Lee a lot.
I think I got some Elmers.
Because in
I
the
can't
beginning, I
remember.
didn't realize that you could do the
So it's been
the
several...
mash bill to wheat.
Yeah, it's been several years.
It smells good.
Are you jealous
No,
of
it
that
just
food?
smells really good.
Perry has food envy.
It smelled like McDonald's fries for a second, and I was like, oh no. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
Yeah, I feel like that test was going on for several years. I mean, I
It
can remember
was.
taking it maybe
Several
3
times.
years ago.
Yeah.
Like a while ago. So they've been collecting that data for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I also find it a little hard to believe, because I don't trust the system, that they actually, like, everyone actually picked, like you said, something that was affordable for them to make and not Pappy 23 to package and produce, you know?
Right.
Like, I find it hard to believe, oh, what a coincidence. This is actually something that we could do and would be affordable.
Yeah, just think
Sure.
of all the non-bourbon regulars who took that test. They would have been like, oh, I want a really old bourbon,
Something old and
Something
smooth.
old.
If I put in weeded, I'll get Pappy.
Yeah.
You know?
Did anybody ever get Pappy with that?
I never
don't
did.
know.
And I tried. I went back
Maybe
and
it
I'm
wasn't
going
on
to try
there.
to get Pappy this time.
It
I'm
might
gonna
have not been an
try.
option.
You got Weller 12. Well, I aged it for 24 years.
I put maximum age.
Mine's coming out in 2035.
I think it was a cool experiment, and I think whoever did the marketing for it is really smart, because they made something now that people want. It's limited. People are already going to stand in line for Weller anyways. Now they're even more excited about it.
Yeah.
Who knows? They could do a release every year of Craft Your Perfect Bourbon, and people would still be out here.
That would be a good idea.
Do a stag
God, that
CYPB.
does smell good.
Reset the counter. Do it
Yep.
again. Oh no, it's a 7-year Weller.
But I don't think they're going to.
Get out of here. Ugh.
That's what you voted for. I don't know.
Now it's Elmer T. Lee Ultra or Extreme Mountain Dew Elmer T. Lee. It's, you know, like
ETL Max with 2 X's.
ETL Max.
And that weird
to
90s
the
like
distillery.
electricity. Yeah.
Yeah.
ETL 2, back in the habit.
Back in the cap because he wore that cap.
Right.
And each bottle comes with a free cap. I don't know. You collect 6 caps, send it in, and you get a cap.
Oh boy.
It's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
but I feel like at a certain point, Weller's already so allocated and people are already chasing it so much. How much more can they really
Exactly.
exploit the
Yeah.
Weller line?
Well, here's the thing.
So you could go
But they've also
anywhere from
expanded
80
a lot. They've
all the
also
way up to
expanded.
yeah.
Exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So they're building these $25 million warehouses left and right.
Yeah.
They are ramping up production. In 7 years, we're really going to be experiencing the flow of this ramped up production.
Right, the response to the bourbon boom.
So it's like maybe they
Yeah.
got to be like, we need to secure that we're going to sell the stuff that we're just now making that we won't be selling for another 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
You better
Hey,
really hope that
this is
Ancient
what-
Age is going to do well.
Ancient Age is underrated. This is what
think
you
it's
all
fine.
wanted from 6 years ago
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a hell of a marketing thing.
But at that
and his
point,
marketing hype is hype. It's like
at
a
that
gimmick.
point,
I mean,
though, is the bourbon boom over? Has the bubble
Perry,
burst?
don't say it.
But I'm just speculating. Like, are they planning too far in advance?
I don't think you can ever plan too far in advance.
No, and I think, look, this is, I mean, everything, every trend, every fad comes to an end. And
It goes in cycles. Yeah.
it does. Things cycle. But I will say, like, obviously bourbon has reached an all-time high of popularity. At some point,
I mean,
it will
we're doing a podcast in front of a freaking
Right.
liquor store.
At some point,
5 in the morning.
Almost
It
6
will-
o'clock.
it will deflate. At some point, it will deflate.
I'm about ready for some steak and shake. I'll tell you that.
It does smell good.
I want some steak and eggs.
They
But
had
it'll-
breakfast. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Go ahead,
It'll
Sarah.
come down at some point,
Is it
right?
about bacon? Oh, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
It will come. Yeah, no, it will come down at some point. But my thought is, are they investing too much in the inevitable future?
So
Well, go ahead.
people are always going to drink liquor, right?
Sure.
Okay.
In good times
So-
or bad?
And what?
In good times or bad, people drink.
Right. People will drink liquor no matter what. They will keep drinking liquor.
Mm-hmm.
What we learned from the 90s and the 80s was that vodka was cool, but then people got bored with it because it has no story and it's just a limitless number of flavors. And it's basically the most story it has is how many times it was distilled.
Right.
And gin is cool now, but
It's coming back.
It's coming back. Tequila
really
is
is.
cool, but it's coming back. But bourbon has the most authentic, history-rooted, like traditional, at least in America. Internationally, people love bourbon too. So and whiskey. So I'm like, yes, it will deflate at some point, but how much? Will it bust and go back to nothing like it was in the 60s and 70s? I don't think so.
I think no, too.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever going
Because
to
the
happen
word is
again.
out. Because when it was at its lowest, there wasn't the internet.
Right.
Now people are initiated. They know.
Sure.
They know
And-
the story. They know the history. I don't think it'll ever go as far down as it was.
Well, and
then.
I think too that we are so far past the when bourbon was at its lowest, it was during the 60s and 70s. What was big in the 60s and 70s? Counterculture.
Protests, yeah.
We're so far past counterculture where people were going, this is not my life.
I want to drink what my grandfather drank.
Yeah. Like we have very well moved past that notion of it's just not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that bourbon has definitely come back around on that cycle to where it is cool again. And I guess my point in it is that I can see it being reasonable to invest X number of dollars, X number of rick houses and barrels and everything into it. But at this point, you okay? Okay.
That was just a big lion yawn.
But at this point, have people done too much to live up to a hype that may not
Well,
exist in the next 10 years?
what I'm worried about is everyone trying to get theirs. So this podcast, we've already talked about Jim Beam starting like what we speculated as their whiskey row, right?
Yeah.
With the repeal batch. And so Jim Beam's got that going for them. Wild Turkey is doing those Bourbon Baron.
Oh yeah,
Is that what they call it? Bourbon
the
Baron?
pre-prohibition stuff.
Pre-prohibition, where they bring back defunct.
Which, by the way, whatever happened to those?
Oh, they're coming back.
out with
Are they?
another
Yeah.
Bond and Lillard, but they are not coming out with another Old Rippy.
Yeah, another Bond and Lillard and another one that I can't remember the name. It's
new
like
one, I
another
think.
one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's another
resurrected.
brand
Yeah,
coming out.
So
of
those
it.
are coming
okay,
back.
so that's good because
So-
I was thinking about that recently. Like, what happened to
Yeah,
that?
they're going to do another
brand?
limited release.
So
of
they've
those.
got that. Old Forester has their Whiskey Rose series. Woodford has all of these special, what do they call it, master collections? Master
Collection,
Master
yeah.
collections.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I
Jim
can't
Beam has
remember.
Signature Craft series.
Jimmy Master Craft. Like, all these people have their
thing.
Now we're coming at that. So Buffalo Trace. Now Craft Your Perfect Bourbon.
Yeah.
All these things. Like, everyone, I've compared it to comic books before. I'll
Yeah.
do it again. Comic books in the 90s. Chromium covers, hologram covers, variant editions.
Sounds like Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
that's what
Mylar
I mean,
bags.
Japanese
with
holographic
Yeah,
view.
Mylar bagged with a card in it.
Have you gotten your Charizard yet?
all this stuff, and it worries me because everyone out there is trying to get they're trying to cash in. They're trying to get their piece.
Sure.
And is that what's going to end up killing it?
Uh,
Because people are just going to throw up their hands and be like, you know what, I'm done.
Well, I think at some
I
point
just want my old crow.
there will be too many choices. Like you've got your old reliables and the big distilleries that they're going to keep putting out these collections. They're probably going to be decent, at least, or great, from a range between there. But then you also got these craft distilleries who are also making a grab at all these things with what they
yeah.
do that's unique and different and cool. We age in small barrels. We age in extra large barrels.
We roll our barrels.
Roll our barrels. We use this kind of corn. We use that kind of corn. We heat cycle. We do the Solaris thing. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
that's what's going to happen that's what's going to cause the bubble to burst
I
is
agree.
oversaturation.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now I feel like everyone's buying into it. Oh, I'm going to pick up that
Sure.
new thing. I'm going to pick up that new
Sure.
thing. I'm going to pick up all these new things. And eventually they're going to be like,
I'm tapped
I'm
out of
done
money.
with this. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. I'm only going to get this and this.
And that's the thing too. It's a crapshoot right now.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot recently about what's the best craft distillery, or who is putting out the best earlier or younger bourbon.
Yeah.
And I think that the only way that people are going to really know is to try stuff. But at the same time,
You get kind of
if
burned
there's-
that way too.
Exactly. And if there's so much for you to try, at some point you're going to be like, I don't care anymore.
I know what I like. This is what I like.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to stick with because I'm tired of spending $60 on bottles that I don't like.
I mean, we, as in Sarah and myself, have already kind of eliminated one particular special release a year because we've been burned on it a couple times. And we're just like, you know what? If we don't get that particular one, no big deal.
Right? Everyone else is
And
chasing
we
it.
run a channel.
I'd rather chase something else.
Yeah. It's like you
Because
got to
you
pick and
can't chase
choose after a
everything. You
while.
gotta
But this,
pick. Yeah.
We don't
so
all have
this year,
disposable incomes.
this year's special release hasn't made any difference to you. The age and the proof hasn't.
I mean, the age and the
Perry
proof.
knows what we're talking about.
I know.
I know exactly what you're talking
The
about.
proof,
I
because the
would.
age
See,
always
that's
stays
the thing
same.
for me is
Here's the
this
thing.
year the proof
Right.
is what's the
I would
difference
try
for
it.
me.
The proof is the
Happily.
I
highest.
would too.
I would happily try it, but am I gonna get here at 3
Okay.
a.m. to try to get one?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I did last year for you,
Yeah.
and I got burned.
Yeah,
But that's okay.
thanks,
You got a
man.
little book.
Yeah, I did. Oh, that little book. I would
Okay.
rather have the little book. Honestly,
Yep.
I'm glad.
Sure. So
glad.
I can see that Sarah's getting sleepy eyes.
What else you got in that pack?
Or
Oh, I just keep
Or-
yelling.
could we
I'm fine.
pause for a restroom break?
I say we pause for a second, and we will be back very shortly.
We'll be
All
right
right,
back.
let's do that then.
And then we'll drink more bourbon.
Hey, Chapel,
Okay.
go get me steak and shake.
Steak and shake.
So we're back from our extended break.
I needed a nap.
Sarah needed a nap real bad.
Sarah took a nap.
A long nap.
We've had food and coffee since then.
Yeah.
It's
And-
now 7:30.
It is 7:30. It's almost 8 o'clock, actually.
Jeez.
Yeah. Last time that we were with you, it was 6 o'clock. And that's your time update
All
from
right. Good podcast.
So what happens is minutes pass, and then the clock
time,
it goes around. The
sun
clock.
moves, Earth.
The sun is up now.
It is.
Yes.
Sunglasses have been applied, bourbon has been poured, and we're going to drink some for our review on this episode. I'm struggling to form words and be
Basic
awake.
sentences.
Yeah. So our review for this episode is Early Times Bottled and Bond. Unfortunately, we are not recording for Patreon because it is very early and
it's really not set up for a recording situation.
Not
Sorry,
quite.
patrons.
Not quite. So we'll get you something special later this week, I think. But anyway, so Early Times Bottled and Bond, Brown Forman product, same mash bill as King of Kentucky, right?
Yep.
The bottle says, hold on. Old style whiskey, generations of experience in crafting fine whiskeys, and it was established in 1860.
It's a good looking label.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like the throwback quite a bit. Have you guys have liked this in the past, right?
We had it in the past and have liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Better than the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. I don't know. I haven't had them side by side.
Right.
I haven't either, but I think this one is a little bit more full in the dark side of flavor.
Perry likes the dark
of the
side.
force.
They have cookies.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, I think the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond is a little lighter on the nose, like a little more mellow. This has got more like spicy notes and caramely notes.
Yeah,
just like deeper, richer a
That
little
dark
bit.
caramel.
Right, but I think that Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond is a little bit more balanced overall
Agreed.
than this is.
Yeah.
But
Don't be hating on my Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond.
well, of course not. I just think that like the brown sugar is a little overwhelming on the.
It does.
You
It
know,
smells
it
like
makes
baking.
sense now having had King of Kentucky. Like this turned up to 125,
Would
whatever
be.
it was, would be a little extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
it is.
But would it also then be worth, what, $200?
We've already established,
230.
in our opinion, no.
And
And that's a
no.
big old fat no.
If you're curious about King of Kentucky, get the Early Times Bottled and Bond. If you don't like it, then there's your answer.
If you're curious about it, watch our uncorking of it.
And do that.
There you go.
And listen to
And listen to
our
Perry's.
listen to Perry's podcast.
Episode.
yeah.
because Chad gets real salty about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one who spent the money.
I know
We
you are.
had a small disagreement.
Oh, we did. That's the most we've gotten into it
Yeah.
during the review section.
So go watch it. Listen to it. I mean,
Yeah.
do whatever you need to do.
That would have been a good one for recording.
Good video one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think honestly, overall, the nose is a little bit flat for me. Like nothing is particularly jumping out other than the brown sugar, and like there's a little bit. You good?
Yeah.
Did you just spill?
Well, I thought the recorder was falling out of my lap.
Ooh.
So the answer is yes, you spilled.
Yes, I spilled.
Did you spill on the Zoom?
No.
Okay.
My pants.
On his pants.
On your pants.
He was trying to save the equipment.
Do you need a change?
Yes, did you bring it?
Take your pants off right now.
Excuse me while I take my pants off. Get a little more comfortable.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I think the nose is a little flat.
Anyways, you know, it's all right. For what, $22 a bottle? Yeah,
I think I got this
It's-
one for 23.
It's a pretty good nose,
Yeah.
I'd say. So
I mean, I would. If this and King of Kentucky were the same price, I'd get this.
ouch.
Yeah, ouch.
Sorry.
All right.
And I've already taken a sip, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the palate while you guys sip on it. For me, the palate tastes almost like straight chocolate cake. It's very...
It is cakey. It almost reminds me of like Black Forest cake because it has a little bit of cherry too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it
Good
also
call.
has like a slight light sweetness that's like the icing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm feeling right
But
now.
it's real sugar.
But it's
like
real sugar.
It's not like an artificial
Right.
sugar. I mean, it tastes like real granulated white sugar.
Yes, I agree. That good stuff. Perry's over here scratching his neck, sugar.
It's a hell of a drug.
So, I mean, I think, again, for the price, I think it's great.
I think the finish for me is where that's where
It's
I think the weak point
It's
is.
a bit short, yeah.
Yeah.
But it
Short and
finishes
flat.
on a... yeah, it's not an awful note to finish on, but, I mean, I've had better, so...
There's a little bit of like
I
a
shouldn't say that. I've had better finishes.
there's a little bit of like a green apple or citrus note on the finish that kind of lingers and fades a little quickly, but I definitely notice it, especially on repeat sips.
You could get a little lemon peel maybe
Yeah.
on the finish.
No. I mean, it's definitely
There's a slight citrus note in there.
Yeah.
The brightness of it.
yeah.
Towards the middle back. Yeah.
And like we said too, price is what $22, $23.
Yeah.
So it's not going to
For
kill
a
you.
liter.
For a liter.
This
For
is
a
only
liter,
offered
mind
in a
you.
liter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is a steal.
I think so too. I
And
think so
again,
too.
I would recommend it over King of Kentucky. Sorry, King of Kentucky.
In that case, the price is a 5.
Yeah. Right.
Well, speaking of numbers, we have a review system of. I'm gonna
Never-
wait for the truck to pass.
You
No.
talking about never
This
pulled
was
fleshy
easier a
piercings?
couple hours ago when there wasn't as much traffic.
Right.
Never pull fleshy piercings.
Ew.
It's I almost said never palate finish and price, but it's
Never.
nose palate.
How's the never rate?
It's
Nose,
nose palate,
palate,
finish,
finish,
and
and
price. Each category is out of 5, and then we total everything up out of 20. Then we let you know whether or not this is a recommendation from us. Mm-hmm. So, are we just gonna keep
Can we
track of
just-
our own scores?
Maybe we just go one at a time and keep track of our own scores, like
Sure.
one category at a time, because we can't
It's
write it
fine.
down.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fine. Let's
Okay,
do that.
so nose. Who wants to go first? Okay, I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
I'm going to give it a 2. I'll give it a 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not bad. It's about middle of the pack for what it is. So I'll give it a 2.5.
See, for me, I would have to give it a 2 because I think that it's good, but it's lacking some sort of inviting punch that makes me think that it has more than that one brown sugar or vanilla note that's on there. Like, it's just a little boring for me.
It is boring.
It's
But
a
it's
little-
not bad.
No,
yeah.
it's just, it's not the most inviting or exciting.
It's a little one
Nose.
note, but it's, different than I think what we're used to.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it a 2.5 as well, because where it is a little one note, it's a different and enjoyable
Sure.
note, but like Sarah said, kind of middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not usually the harshest on these.
I
You're going
know,
to say a
but,
2?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 2.
Not fair
on
enough.
this.
I went back and forth.
Yeah. Palette-wise, though.
It depends on if we're saying noses overall of all the things we've ever nosed, or
Nah,
nose
independent.
compared to like what it is. You know, what it is for the price. and
I mean,
everything
I
else
always try
in
to approach these
consideration.
as like independent of
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
But that's
I mean, 2.5.
that's just me.
I don't
Yeah.
hate it. It's average.
Yeah.
C.
Yeah.
I'll give
Cool.
it a D plus, C minus, whatever.
Palette.
Palette-wise, though, I gave it a 3.5.
Ooh.
I was gonna
He
give
likes
it.
it.
I was gonna toss it a 3.
Yeah.
Only
the palette's
because
really
the
where
palette's
it shines.
short. It's pretty short. I mean, I guess that's more. I should
Sure.
probably lie more in the finish. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I understand what you're saying though. Like the palette, I totally get what you're saying. The palette is present. If it had a little bit more punch to it, or a little bit more present, then I would be willing to give it higher. But I think that a 3.5 means that it is enjoyable, but not the best thing.
Yeah. So
Out there.
3.53. What do
Yeah.
you give it, Sarah?
I'm gonna also go with a 3.5 here.
Okay.
Like, again, I think it's really solid for where it's at. I do think when we get to the finished portion, that is where it will be lacking. But I feel 3.5
Yeah.
is fair. Based on, I agree with Perry.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, I think
Awesome.
Also, a reason for my 3 is much like the nose. It's a little one note.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
And
really like those Black Forest cake notes, though. Like
sure,
that,
I do
that
too.
is unique.
you know, and then that's why I think I liked it. I gave it a little bit more.
yeah, and I think that it is one of the more unique palettes
Yeah.
out there too.
It is dark. It borders on nutty, but I think it's more of that, like you said, Black Forest, that cherry and that chocolate
cocoa kind of
cocoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
taste to it. Yeah. Finish though.
Finish is sort of short, especially for a 100 proofer.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
100 proofer, yeah.
again, there are really interesting things with it, but I don't think that it's enough to, and I said enough weird, I don't think that it's enough to...
Enough.
That's
Enough.
not... enough.
Yeah.
I don't think that it is enough to bump it over a 1.5 for me.
Whoa, you're giving it a 1.5?
I'm giving the finish a 1.5.
Dang. Barry
Yeah.
with the low ball.
Yeah. Because there's not... What's there is good if it went on longer than, like, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I would give it higher than that. But 1.5 is about as high as I can give on the...
I
on
can
the
see
finish.
that. I'm going to go with a 2 because I feel like anything under a 2 isn't just a short finish, it's a nasty finish. Or
Right.
bad taste.
Okay.
For me, that's how, like, in my
Sure.
head, my scoring system is going to work. So I got to give it a 2 because there's nothing wrong with the finish flavors and, like, the way it feels and stuff. It's not bad. It's just not exciting. So 2.
Well, in a shocking turn of events, I'm going to give it a 2.5
Chad.
because after 3 or 4 drinks,
It actually does warm me up.
it does
Yeah.
stick around longer than I initially thought, and it's still going. I'm getting a brief Kentucky hug, like a Kentucky awkward hug. You know?
Kentucky Tap.
Yeah.
We had a bourbon last episode for Flying Blind that the hug was so aggressive that we called it the Kentucky Strangle.
The Kentucky hug with a struggle.
Yeah, exactly. The Kentucky, I'm not sure when this hug is supposed to
It's
end.
a
Is this a
snuggle with a
good kind of
struggle.
hug or a bad kind of hug?
Yeah, like I need an adult kind of hug.
Show me on the doll.
I am an adult.
Yeah, so 2.5. I think it does last a little bit longer than what I previously thought. And much like the nose and the palate, it's also a little one note. But again, liking that note because it's different. And it is warming me up. And so, yeah, I'm going to give it 2.5.
Yeah.
Cool. So, which brings us to price.
To price, yes.
I'm going to give it a 5.
You give the price 5.
Dang.
Yeah.
Is that the
Wow.
first
This-
5 you've ever
Jumping.
given?
Yes, but the size of the
Probably.
bottle and the quality of what's in there for $22 to $23 is insane. It's crazy. I think it's great. I think it's a great value.
So then you definitely have to give Heaven Hill BIB a 5.
Did I already rate that?
No.
No, we've actually never reviewed that on the show before.
I would give it a 5 though because it's like what, $12?
Yeah, you'd probably get a 5
product-
plus.
It's up to 14 or 15 now.
Well, still the product that you get and the age that you get, I would give that a 5
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this for sure, the size of the bottle, it's bottled in bond, the quality of the stuff inside is great. And it's really affordable. If this isn't a 4 to a 5, what is?
Right.
Sure.
You know, Heaven Hill, 90 or bottled in bond. But
Yeah.
what else? You know?
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah.
Turkey 101.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a... This is tough. I'm going to give it a 3.7.
I almost gave it a 3.75. I came very close, but I'm
definitely-
actually
weird.
It's definitely above average.
I'm gonna give it a 4 though.
It's definitely a good value.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if it was more than kind of the one note that I was picking up on all the categories, it would push it to the 5.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Sarah in terms of there's not much out there quality and value wise. It's not like somebody just got in a wreck. Sorry. At this price, I don't think that it's necessarily the best bourbon out there for the price, but I think that it is super value for what it is. And I just think that a 4 is about as darn traffic keeps going by. And
That's fine.
yeah, all right.
It's a fire
I guess
truck.
you can hear it and I can't. No, I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
I think 4 is...
Man, maybe
That's
I
good
was
on
too
purpose.
generous, or maybe you guys are just really harsh.
This has been very...
This is the most varied we've
atypical.
been. Yeah.
Like, okay, I
Yeah.
guess you all are like, I'd like to see more flavors and I'd like to see more finish and da-da-da-da. But to be honest, this was a lower grade product made to be sold at under $25. So for what it is, I feel like it's great at being what it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because whatever has the better finish and the more complex notes is going to be way more expensive. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just up too early and I'm in a great mood. Yeah, no, I give it a 5. I mean, my overall score is 13. And to me, that even still feels low.
I'm going to have you all help me with my math. So.
Yeah,
Shoot.
repeat your scores.
Okay, so I had what did I have? Was it 2.5 on nose?
I gave it a
Yeah.
3. No, I gave it a 2.5 also.
Okay, I gave it the same as you. So
2.5.
2.5. Then palate was a...
Oh, shoot.
3?
3? Yeah. I give the palate a 3.5.
Or did you give
I
it a
don't know that
2.5
much.
again?
I don't remember.
Well, I don't
This
know
is why
what
I
you
write
did.
things down.
I know.
I gave
Well, it's early and
the finish higher than you guys. I gave it a 2.5 because you
Sarah
went
gave it a
1.5
2 and I gave it a
to
1.5.
2.5.
So that's 5.
3 was the palate.
That's 5, and we don't know what... Oh, 3 was the palate, so that's 8.
3.7.
And then you gave it a 3.7. So, an
11.7.
11.7.
And then I gave it an 11 out of 10. Or
11 out of 10.
An 11 out of 20.
And I
Okay.
gave it a 13.
All right.
I think it's a recommend.
I agree.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
think that
I think
this
you
is
should have this
anything-
on your bar.
Yeah, and at the very least, you need to try it. But this isn't necessarily the
It's
first thing I'm jumping for.
Above average. If 10 is
Yeah.
the average of 20, it's
Mhm.
above average.
Yep.
I agree. It's above average.
Definitely.
So,
You know, honestly, what hurt this was having that King of Kentucky because it was bringing up memories of that amplified. And I tried to get over that by like the third sip.
but we all know you don't get over things. So
All right.
Chad holds grudges.
I'm
No.
kidding.
No, I think I did get over it,
You did.
I think that's fair.
and I can enjoy it.
I think we're past it.
Yeah.
You know, recency bias is definitely a thing.
Sure.
Recency? Recent
Recent.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Reese's cups.
Reese cup bias.
I think
Okay.
spending too much money on a bottle that disappoints you would make you biased.
Hurts.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it hurts.
Absolutely.
So,
Wallet bias.
Yeah.
Anyway, that
So-
does it for our review. We're going to be back in a little bit again for our wrap up to see how we fared after waiting in line for 6 hours.
jeez, has it really been that long?
It will have been 6 hours by the time we walk inside.
Golly.
And then we're also going to give our tips and bits at that point. So stick around, and we'll be back in a bit. Suckers.
Silly
Did
goose.
you leave anything for us? Absolutely not, you dummy.
no. We don't have a gosh darn thing left
Took it-
for you.
Took it all.
Do you want some Master's Keep Revival?
There's no Master's Keep left. There's so much Master's Keep. So how did we do, guys? Poorly?
I think we came in second.
We came in a very close second, I would say.
we
maybe
did about
third.
as good as I expected us to do. We each got a Weller 12, which, let's be honest, a year ago we all would have been absolutely thrilled with.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
not what we
absolutely.
came for today.
That wasn't the Weller we were looking for.
It's not the Weller you're looking for.
It's not
But
the Weller you're looking for.
there being only 6 bottles of that Weller, and the fact that we would have had to have gotten there at 10 p.m. last night, I think
Yeah, what was-
overall it's about as expected.
The guy who was first in line, when did he get there?
9 a.m. yesterday?
9
9 a.m. on Friday
Yeah.
for a 9 a.m. on Saturday release.
So 24 hours
which is
early.
Stupid.
No, thank you.
Stupid.
No.
Who has that kind of time?
Not me.
Not me.
So there was, so the CYPB went first, then the Weller handles, the 1.75, which they had 6 of,
Those went.
went first, 6 or 7. And then they had, say, about 30
I don't even know if it was 30.
of the 750s.
Yeah, maybe 20.
Oh, I think it
Weller
was
12s.
probably closer to
20.
21, 24.
Okay.
If we're going in rows of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that of the Weller 12, just the 750s.
So
Then the Rock Hill went.
Then the Rock Hill went. Then people, I think, were grabbing the Woodford double oak.
And there were like 2 McKennas sitting up there.
Yeah,
which
two
went.
little
Which was
McKennas.
weird.
I also thought that was weird.
Was that part of the release?
No.
No,
So I
think
could have just grabbed one,
It was still limit 1. You
even
couldn't-
with the McKenna.
Yeah.
Dumb.
it was up there on
Stupid.
the table. It was weird.
Stupid.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that.
No.
In case you can't tell.
Well, next year, the Heaven Hill 6-year bottled and blonde will be up there. You watch.
Shut your mouth.
As
I
soon
don't
as it
want that.
wins,
I don't want
Something.
these.
It will win something.
Pay for
You're
play.
right.
yeah.
Yep.
I got to be honest with you guys. I'm a little disappointed in this.
I mean, this is definitely the earliest we've ever gotten up
Sure.
for a store thing.
Yeah.
And to come in second or even third, depending on, if you put the 175s as second place, it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But we did get a Weller.
Yeah.
We did.
I mean, I could say that Chad and I have definitely had, I think, worse outcomes where we got there, at 5,
Right.
but we didn't walk away with anything.
Yeah.
So at least we walked away with something that is great. It's a great, consolation prize for what we were going for.
Who
No one
would
should
have
be
thought
mad
Weller
about
12 would be a constellation?
Right. Well, no one
That's-
should be mad about getting a bottle of Weller 12, right?
Yeah.
It's just not what we were there for.
No, but
But-
also we each paid like $40 for
Yeah.
a bottle. And usually Liquor Barn is the one that has more reasonable prices when it comes to Weller releases.
Yeah, but I mean, if you wanted to
Chad
turn around and
disagrees.
sell it, you definitely could.
I
don't.
I
I want to
don't
keep
share.
mine.
That's,
So
that's where I am.
my hope was to get a 175 of Weller 12 and trade that for a 750 of the CYPB, but
It's
if I could have even arranged
Ooh.
that,
sure.
Sorry.
that might have been tough.
What was the ooh for?
I saw a shiny object. No,
Historic-
I saw a
historic
furniture
was-
store that's having going out of business sale, and I got
we
real
should
excited.
tell your listeners that we're
Yeah.
now driving.
We're on the way to
We're-
Total Wine.
We're in a car.
Because we
we're
would
in an
like to
automobile.
Yeah, we would like to see what they have this morning.
Because
And-
they didn't do any announcements, but we know that they might have something coming in because they always like to have a little jab at Liquor Barn. So
They do. They do. Direct competitors.
Yeah.
It's like the Cola Wars, but it's the Liquor Wars. Oh,
So what are we expecting from this? Anything?
We heard there's some E.H. Taylor barrel proof over
that'll
there.
be gone.
Chad
Yeah,
thinks
there's-
everything good will be gone. At the very least, I need a new Pikesville. So
Yeah, and they have the better prices.
And they do have better prices.
I bet you that there's at least going to be special reserve over there.
maybe.
Ooh, special. Sorry, it's
I know.
like-
Hey.
I know. I'm just
But
saying. Like
people-
I have that feeling. Like
I know.
because it's been
Spoiled.
creeping. It's been creeping up everywhere.
Yeah.
Over the past few days.
People who aren't in the know about bourbon still recognize Weller Special Reserve and want it and are willing to pay
Yeah.
more than what it's goes for normally.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be happy to get a bottle and pass it off to them for
Sure.
a $10 handling
Sure.
charge.
Nothing makes me feel older than telling my Weller Special Reserve story. Like, I can remember when you would walk in and you would see it on the bottom shelf for $19.
Well, in
every
my
time you
day, we walked to
in.
school uphill both ways in the sno.
That's the way
5
it was,
miles.
and we liked it.
I'm 25, and
Who put a question mark in the teleprompter? I'm 25? I don't know, are you?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know.
Anyway, I will say, I always subscribe to the theory that I would rather go to the Super Bowl and lose than not go to the Super Bowl at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that going to a Liquor Barn on a Saturday
Is a
at
Super
3
Bowl.
a.m. is the Super Bowl, but I would rather try and come up short than not try at all.
I mean, you never catch if you don't cast. There we go. I've been
Yeah.
up since 3.
And I mean, at least this way, we can uncork however we need to uncork it, find out at a restaurant, pull some strings. It won't be our bottle, but we can do it.
Sure.
And for our fans, but we won't have it to ourselves personally. And you know what? At the end of the day, that's okay. And you can't win them all.
Just so much FOMO.
It is so much FOMO. But if we uncork it and we're like, it's just okay, then we won't have FOMO anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've never been one who has clamored over Weller 12. I think it's solid, but I've never been like, oh, got to get me that.
I think I
Weller 12.
like the 107 a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, and once I really started digging into the 107, I started liking it more.
Yeah.
And I still think that I still think that the 12-year is really solid, but I think the 107.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about the 12-year.
Well, no, of course not.
And that's like a whole other discussion. Like these people who are hardcore, Weller 12 fans, and this also goes for some other releases. They're like, yeah, today's Weller 12 is good, but man, you got to get those bottles with the raised W, because back when it had the raised W, that was the really special stuff. Or, I mean, and we've even experienced it with the Wild Turkey. Like, that 2010 Wild Turkey 101 that we ran across is really something special. It's just, a little bit better than today's stuff. So you even get into that. It's like what I would call the Green Day method or theory or what was I calling it?
I don't know. Theory sounds like a good
the
word.
Geometry thing.
Oh, hypotenuse.
The Green Day hypothesis.
Hypotenuse triangle. It's like,
here's my hypotenuse.
What bands do you like? Oh, I like Green Day. Oh, but I mean like the early stuff. And then you have to quantify it with, I don't like the stuff that Green Day's putting out now.
But before this song,
I like it, these
That's
albums.
how I am with Maroon 5.
Up until this album. So, it's like, that's how specific you can get even with bourbon. Oh, I'm a real big Weller 12 fan. Oh, but, up until they stopped putting the raised W on the bottle or, whatever it was.
Sure.
From these years. I like Pappy, but, the Stitzer Weller juice, not the, Buffalo Trace mash bill or whatever.
Right.
It's like
right.
when you have to get that
so many qualifiers
dialed in
about
it, that's when you really know you're talking to a bourbon nerd, I guess.
But you know what I would say? I'd like to blind them and see if they could pick it out.
Oh, yeah, me too.
In a perfect world, I would be able to do that to everyone. I would just man on the street, blind taste everybody.
Yeah.
Always. But that's not the world we live in.
And
So.
what I like to say, I like to give strangers bourbon.
Because, your average drinker doesn't go to the trouble of blinding themselves.
Sure.
Or being blinded, by friends or whatever. So when they have this emphatic, this would be my top 5, you're like, really? Because I used to say that too. I used to say this is my top 5, but man, that's changed over the years.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it does. It's always evolving. I feel like your top 5 is not permanent.
Yeah.
So I feel like that pretty much rounds out
Yeah,
how I feel about what happened today.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think that means that it's time for our next and somewhat infamous segment,
Ooh.
Tips and Bits.
Tips and bits.
Where
Tips
we
and bits.
tell you things that we may or may not recommend.
Oh, we can tell things we don't recommend?
Sure, if you have something
Well, that's a
that
tip. Don't waste your time.
Oh, here's a tip.
But your bit, though.
Yeah, your bit.
So it depends on what you want to...
Don't eat lead paint. That's a tip.
Okay, there's... Sarah, what's your tip or bit?
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
kidding. I'm kidding. Chad can have an actual...
Okay, go ahead, Chad.
I feel like I've done this before. I want to recommend something I haven't finished watching. Like I recommended a TV series when I'd only seen like the first episode.
Or you hadn't seen any of it.
Yeah, right. And
But
I
you
was
ended
like,
up liking
those
it.
commercials look good. I started watching Super Troopers 2 on the plane.
Oh, yeah?
And I got about 25, maybe 30 minutes into it, and I was enjoying it. So I look forward to finishing it. I feel like it's a good movie, probably, unless it takes a turn for the worse. So I would recommend that. Yeah.
He recommends that right meow.
Right meow.
Sarah?
Let's see. We've been watching a lot of MasterChef, which I love, adore it. I don't know why, because it's like very predictable in some ways, but I just love to watch them cook, and I love to guess who's going home. So I personally would enjoy that, have been enjoying that. And then a tip, I would say, I also watched the latest season of Orange is the New Black on Netflix.
How was it?
It was all right.
Just all right?
I heard it's back. I heard Orange is the New Black is like the new Orange is the New Black.
Oh, Chad. I will say, I think it's better than last season, but it still just feels like it was something that was supposed to be 1 or 2 seasons that they're like, okay, what can we do now? Okay, what new characters can we introduce?
Yeah, is she still in prison?
Right. Well, they just keep furthering the plot.
Well, it depends on, what she did before she got in prison.
If you
Chad.
ever saw Weeds, it's the same creator who did Weeds, and the first couple of seasons of Weeds were really good, but then you started to wonder, like, why is this main character making these decisions? Every decision she makes is illogical, and it just leads to more trouble, which is only clearly done to further the plot. And that's kind of how I felt about this latest season. So it was entertaining. I finished it pretty quickly, but I don't know. If you don't have a ton of time, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
All right.
So that's my tips and bits.
There you go.
Okay, fair
Harry.
enough. I saw Hunchback of Notre Dame for the first time in probably about 10 years
Oh.
last night. Freaking love that movie. It's really dark for a Disney movie, but my goodness, it's so good.
Yeah, doesn't like the guy want to like take Esmeralda as his like slave or something?
Yeah, he says she can either have him or he will murder her.
Yeah.
Burning at the
That's
stake.
a pretty big ultimatum.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. And Lucy and I were watching it together, and over she was like, "Oh my gosh!" She was like, "I can't believe this was a kids movie."
Did our parents let us watch this?
My parents did.
What's going on?
My parents let me watch that movie so much, I wore out the VHS, and they had to buy me a new one.
Dang.
And
I
Perry didn't
think-
have that problem again until high school. I'm just kidding.
Learn out of VHS. But that movie was American Pie.
You can cut that out.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's all good. That's about all I have, tips and bits wise.
Busy guy.
Yeah, I see how it is. Chad and Sara, where can people find you on social media?
Addis Bourbonite is always the best place.
And
the
what
very-
else? Sorry,
very
I
best.
just realized that I did not follow that up with more things that they could do to reach out to
no,
you.
that's fine. Best place is youtube.com/It's Bourbonite, at It's Bourbonite on the social media, patreon.com/It's Bourbonite, amazon.com/shop/It's Bourbonite.
You know what I just realized? I don't think I've had you all on since I was on a live episode of the show.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think I've been on since then. I was on a live episode of It's Bourbon Night,
Yeah.
which you can still go and find on their channel.
Go do it.
It was a lot of fun. We all drank a whole lot of bourbon
Oh,
that
yeah.
afternoon.
The rest of that night was a rough one. for
Sarah
me.
fell asleep
I did.
before I
did.
left.
Yep. Well, we had a lot of fun, so
Fun was had.
things got a little
Twas.
out of hand, but
It was.
Yeah.
If you want to follow up with the show on social media, you can go to @MyBourbonPod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast. Give us a rate and review on iTunes or wherever. And if you have nice things to say, then leave us a review. If not, don't tell
Boy.
us how you think that it's an extended bros phone call, which is something that happened this past
Oh.
week, which is stupid. Just if you don't have anything nice to say,
Perry, you can't make everybody happy all the time.
apparently
That's what
I
I've
can't.
learned.
It's fine. It's fine. Thank you all so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We are pulling into Total Wine just as I'm wrapping this up. Chad and Sara, thank you all for being on the show this week.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
We'll have
Perry.
you on again soon, I'm sure. But until then, I'm Perry, and this is my Bourbon Podcast.